So I've seen deals fall apart because a mainland loan officer thought they could do a loan, but when it gets to underwriting, it falls apart. Tell me why that happens. Okay, so I'm going to set up the scenario for you. Here's what happens. And I get it. Somebody has a very trusted loan officer on the mainland that they've done a lot of business with. That person has all their paperwork, knows them inside and out. And they will look at the property and swear up and down that they're able to do this loan. And despite my misgivings, whatever, we're cooking through it. And then it gets to underwrite. And that's where it falls apart. And actually, as a listing agent, it's a bit of a red flag for me when I see a mainland bank because I've known that this happens. Can you give me the dynamics of how of what happens behind the scenes?
Sure. I think back to my own experience starting here on Kauai. I have worked with big bank lenders my whole life, so I know the corporate type of process. Also working as a mortgage company with Guardian Residential Lending. The benefit by having, I think, a local lender in Hawaii, again, it may not be that big of a deal if you're lending from California to Utah or to Florida. I've worked across country with my past lenders that I've worked for. But when you come over here, it's the property type is really unusual. The biggest property difference is what we have are CPR properties, which you share with your clients. These horizontal condos, essentially to create extra residential properties, really is something that most mainland lenders have never seen before. And they look and feel a certain way to a lender when they see it pop up. They might think it's a single family home, or that's what they're assuming. And then up comes all these condominium documents. Well, to a lender, that then becomes a condominium. And we are going to want to see certain things that go along with it, maybe HOA documentation. We want to see minutes. Well, on Kauai, we know that sometimes those CPR properties are just two houses and you share a driveway and you meet in the middle and talk about your palm trees. So that's just something a mainland lender where they have maybe centralized underwriting processes. They don't have necessarily a human being underwriter. That's where it really gets, I think, in trouble is that the loan officer may be great. And I always honor and respect anyone who has loyalty to their loan officer. I, of course, love loyalty myself with my clients and am just thrilled when they come back to me time and again. So I certainly respect that understanding. But when it comes to these properties, they really just don't know how to put them into place. And it can then be quite a process of learning. So with my own team, one of the first things I did was speak with my management team, talk about this property, identify one or two underwriters that will specialize for me on Kauai. So if I have a Kauai deal, my underwriters are picked already. They already understand the property type. They already know what to look for. They already know what documentation to ask from me. And I don't have those problems. But you just don't really have that with your mainland loan officer and your mainland team. If you're buying a single family, pretty straightforward home, you might not have that same kind of a glitch. But again, we have cesspools here, we have property types, we have lots of different things that kind of come into play. And it's very much a location, program, and product with the houses that we really need to know community wise. It's the same as if you were in the mainland in, let's say, a community that had some other unique property type. A log home or something in Oregon isn't going to be as unusual as a log home possibly outside of Santa Barbara. So those location and what is traditional in that community is important. And that's where I think a local lender really comes into play for sure. And that's where I think the encouragement to talk to somebody locally is very important.
Yeah, I don't push people on my clients, and so this is always, yeah, I appreciate this explanation because I'll hear from their lender on the mainland, and the person that they talk with, they're very sincere, and they look at everything and they really honestly think that yes, we can do this, and then it gets up to underwriting and it just all falls apart. So you've explained why.